Yes, so I remember like my mom, we went home and everything, and I was thinking in my head, I do not want to go back there, do not want, but I didn't know how to say it to her because again, I'm a child and she was my mom. So whatever she does is what I do at that time, right? So I remember for the longest while we didn't go back to that place anymore, and my mom was now to migrate to the UK. So I guess she was working on her paperwork and all of that. I think she was trying to get away from my dad, because of everything, his lifestyle, the things that came with him being an entertainer. And again, I'm not bashing him, it's just what it is, what it was, right? But I remember now, because we were living in a small community in Christiana, Manchester, Jamaica. So I was living, again, as I explained, I was living with my aunt, my two cousins, my mom, and then my mom was now getting ready to move to the UK. So obviously we would now have to stay with my aunt, who would now become our guardian, and as well as with my other two cousins, which were her sons. So it was four of us. So it was just one girl and three boys. That myself, the only girl that was living in the household at the time. So I remembered now at the age 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, one of which, and my aunt partner at the time, he's now our ex-partner. And again, this is the first time my family members will hear of this, so it's going to be a shocker. But nonetheless, it's my testimony, and I don't see with my past anymore, so thank God. Nonetheless, he had just, so my aunt's ex-partner now, he was her partner at the time, so now he's her ex-partner. They're no longer together, thank God. He just came from the US, and now he met my aunt, and then he was now coming at the house, and then now I am targeted yet again by another grown man. Yes. And I remembered, I remember vividly again when I was sitting down, and I remember he was sitting across from me, and listen, I could see everything, I know everything, and I wasn't hallucinating. So he whispered, and he said, I wouldn't even repeat what he said, but obviously I'm a child, and for you as a grown man, that's a sexual assault, right? That within itself was sexual molestation or sexual assault or sexual abuse, right? So I was there, and I went and I told my aunt. I remember going to my aunt, and I told her everything that was going on and what he had said to me, and lo and behold, he convinced my aunt somehow. He managed to convince my aunt that I misconstrued what he said, and that was not the case. And my aunt done well. My aunt ran him out of the house. She literally said, "Get out." And then that's when he started to try to prove himself and try to make it something that it was not. That's what he was trying to do. That I was overreacting and stuff like that. You as a child, the adults will always sometimes believe the adults and think that you're being too much or you're being dramatic as a child, right? So nonetheless, I remember going into his car. He told my aunt to call me, and he apologized and said, no, it wasn't nothing like that. I'm sorry if I judged him wrongfully and stuff like that. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I left it. At around a few months after that, I think it was like few months after that, we waited until everything died down and my aunt had forgotten about certain things, and he started. And this was like age 7 to 8, yeah. 7. So I started maturing at a very tender age and go through puberty. And therefore, that was the invitation again for this man. And mind you, he would always manipulate it and say, oh, well, if you say anything again to your aunt, she will not believe you, because again, my aunt had accepted him back. I believed him because I'm thinking, okay, it's true, because my aunt not going to believe me again. So what must I do? Now I'm open to taking on this man. Every time he comes to the house, I will be there. He would always in his powers just to ensure that he molested me as much as he could. And it continued for a while, but I will get into that. So just to retract, so now at the age of 7 to 8, I am open to sexual molestation starting from 4. From age 4, I've been sexually molested, so that was like an open door for the enemy to ridicule me in those aspects. And I thought that it was okay. I literally thought it was okay, because how could those two men, or the men, thought it right to be doing it? And I thought it was okay because of the emotional manipulation and everything that came with it. And again, now, as I said, not only was I sexually molested, I was bullied. And lots of people will be very surprised of this, but the bullies know. But nonetheless, as I was attending prep school, so some of you may or may not know the school in Jamaica. So it was in Christiana, Manchester, Jamaica, called Sacred Heart Academy. So it was a private school where myself and my brother was going. And my mom and my dad, they ensured that we went to good schools. So I should give them that. Nonetheless, I remembered being bullied every single day at that school. Like, every chance that my classmates could get, I was bullied. Even my teachers, believe it, even my teachers bullied me, in a sense where there was nothing that I could do that was right in their eyes. And no matter how much I tried, and I found myself, now that's where people pleasing kicked in. I know that this is where people pleasing kicked in. From age 6 to 8, that's when people pleasing, I started to do things to please other people. People pleasing was a thing. I done everything to ensure that people was on my side. And even when I try, never succeed. There was always something. And because I was open to sexual molestation, I thought it was okay. And I remember being in class, we would always go to computer class. So my class, so that was in grade 4. Over here in the UK, we call it year 4. So I would always be in class, and I had this one particular guy. He was like the popular guy at the time in prep school. Again, I won't call any names. And we would always be in class, and we would be fiddling each other. Yes. And he had a cousin that was going to the same school as well. And I remember that was the open door for embarrassment and ridicule. And it went on for like months. It was going on. We waited until we go to computer class. And anyone who went to Sacred Heart knew where the computer class was, close beside where the principal's office was. And one day I came to school, all dressed up, ready for school. And I remember being in class, and everyone was looking at me like with bad eyes, like they scarred me. And then I was wondering what happened. Then they started, the girls and everyone, the girls in the class, they started cussing me. They started calling me names. And mind you, this was the time like I felt so down. So remember, I'm already going through the bullying because they would always pick on me for whatever reason, I don't know. And every time I tried to please them, like I would ensure that I don't say anything that upsets them. So I'm always trying to set myself up to make sure that I'm in their good books all the time, so that I can be like amongst their clique. That's what always happens. That's what I always was doing, people pleasing. And then obviously this put the icing on the cake, where now they found out these things. And because clearly the guy told his cousin, which attended the same school, and now we were in the same class. So all of us was in the same class. And my brother, he was in a higher class than I was at the time. So if say I'm grade 4, he would be in grade 5. And I found myself always, I had to make my brother's classmates now become my friends, because now my own classmates, they had started turning against me for whatever reason before they even found out about this whole fiddling thing between myself and the guy. So they, and some of you who attended Sacred Heart in that year, like 2006, 2005, you guys would know who you are. I'm not going to call any name, even though this is positive aspects, but just wanted to put it out there that when you guys left, because you guys left a year before I left, I missed you guys so much, because you guys were the one who kept me afloat in terms of jokes and everything. Even when my own classmates were ridiculing me, you guys accepted me, even though you guys were always older than I was. But you guys accepted me when everyone else rejected me, including the teachers. But nonetheless, I had to sustain bullying in my school from my classmates, teachers as well, and then having to go home and undergoing sexual molestation. Honestly, there was a lot going on at my tender age. Like, honestly, there was so much going on. And I remember now, again, being in the community, we used to attend church. So we had neighbors, these particular neighbors, they were always in competition. In even myself too, my family, we were always like in competition to see who were the best dressed to church and all of that. And because I would always get my nice dresses and stuff like that, then now I became a target in my community from those girls who were my friends, bullying. Stay tuned for part 3. Stay tuned for part 3.